Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie and I'm gay, and welcome back to another episode of Top 10. Today we are going to be going over the top 10 third basemen in MLB The Show, and this position is absolutely loaded. There are so many 99 overalls and even cards that play like 99 overalls, but not all of them are going to make the list. I've kind of noticed that doing the honorable mention section takes a little bit too much time and makes my videos a little bit too long. So I'm just going to go ahead and just tell you who the honorable mentions were, but I'm not really going to go into any detail about them. The three honorable mentions were the 99 overall Miguel Cabrera, the 96 Paul Molitor, and the 96 Manny Machado. And I know that the Miguel Cabrera might be a little bit surprising, but anybody that's played with that card kind of realizes that he has a lot of topspin on his swing. He's not that fast and he plays bad defense. So the one thing that he's really good at, his swing kind of takes it away from him. So yeah, he didn't make the top 10. He was relegated to the honorable mention section. But with that said, let's get into the top 10. At number 10 is the 99 overall Mike Schmidt, and this card, fantastic defensively. He has some speed, and against lefties, he's an absolute monster. The problem that keeps him from being any higher is that he just doesn't get the job done good enough against righties. He still hits for power, but you're going to be dealing with an exceedingly tiny PCI with 59 contact, 56 vision, and you're also not going to have as much room for error within your PCI. So he's really only a platoon guy. I would only recommend using this guy on your bench maybe as a defensive replacement or as a platoon if you have a guy over at third base that hits righties good but not lefties. So I don't think that this guy has starter utility, but I do think that he has enough utility coming off the bench to where he deserves a spot in the top 10. Another thing to kind of factor in, well, no, actually, never mind. I was going to say he doesn't have a great swing, but he has a two-handed long swing, so that's normal. You know, his attributes will play as they are. But yeah, the 99 overall Mike Schmidt at number 10. At number 9 is the 99 overall Josh Donaldson, a guy that plays very solid defense and has a ton of power. The problem with this card is the fact that he is, versus both righties and lefties, he isn't going to be dealing with a very big PCI. It's about average, but when you're talking about like the best players at a position, you really want to have that elite PCI size. Another problem with this card is that he has a one-handed long swing, so it makes it very, very difficult for him to tap into his power as often as you would think with 95, 99 power. So that really takes a lot away from this card. I bought this card for 10,000 tickets, just wanting to try it out because his attributes looked very intriguing to me, and it ended up not playing very well at all, and I definitely regret the buy. But if you're a guy who is in need of a guy at third base and you can't really spend a lot of stubs, I would recommend going out and buying the Brooks Robinson, who we're going to talk about a little later, but this Josh Donaldson is also an option. At number 8 is the 97 overall Tony Perez, and this is a card that I admittedly don't know that much about. His batting stance isn't available on the Create a Player screen, so I don't know what type of swing this guy has. I've never used this card in-game. The reason why I put him on the top 10 is because I've heard glowing reports from basically everybody that has used this card. It's kind of a niche card, but every time I go on Reddit and I look when people are talking about like under the radar third baseman and stuff like that, this is a card that always kind of gets brought up. This card and specifically his 87 overall gold from earlier in the year, people were really pretty stoked on that card too. So I thought, you know what, if there are this many people that enjoy using this card and think that he's that good, well, you know, he must deserve a spot. He doesn't play great defense, and he's not all that fast. He's not going to hurt you on the base pass, but he's not super fast or anything like that. But he is a great hitter. He has a ton of power versus righties, very good contact, great contact versus lefties, and passable power. So that's a very intriguing card. He does have the low vision, so your PCI size isn't going to be elite, but it should be fine. It shouldn't be a worry or anything like that. So yeah, the 97 Tony Perez, I don't know a lot about the card specifically, but he is a guy, there are so many people that like him, you know, maybe give him a shot. I don't think he's that expensive at this point in the game cycle. At number 7 is the 99 overall Brooks Robinson, and man, this was tough for me to do because just looking at his raw numbers, this is exactly what I want out of my third baseman. A third baseman with a huge PCI that has passable power and is just an absolute stud defensively. The best defensive third baseman in the game, there is no doubt in my mind. I mean, he's plus 90 and everything. He might be the best overall defender in the game, period. The problem with this card is his swing, and that's kind of weird because he has a two-handed long swing, which kind of means he should be tapping into his power more often, but it just hasn't been the case with him, at least for me. He hasn't been that strong of a card, and I don't know why. I don't get it, but he's not getting it done at the level that I wanted him to, so I'm having to try to look for other options to use it at third base, and you know, that's a difficult thing, but I have heard a lot of people say that they do fine with this card, that he's perfectly passable, and there's just no way, with this guy's raw attributes and the fact that he doesn't have the one-handed long swing, maybe it's just me, and there was just no way that I could leave him off the top 10. I was even tempted to put him higher, but I definitely like this card. This is a really, really attractive card just from the numbers and everything. I mean, it's so hard to pass up on that defense and the great hitting. It really is. But yeah, I couldn't put him any higher, so the Brooks Robinson at number 7. At number 6, we have the 98 overall Wade Boggs, and offensively, this guy kind of reminds me of like a left-handed Brooks Robinson, but for whatever reason, they have the same swing and everything, but for whatever reason, Wade Boggs can tap into his a lot better than the Brooks can. Maybe it's because he's left-handed, and lefties just typically perform better in this game than righties do, but this Wade Boggs is legendary, man. One of the biggest PCIs in the game. It's going to be enormous. He has 83, 75 power, very, very passable, above average, and his defense isn't going to kill you. You know, 81 fielding, 72 reaction, that's perfectly fine. Over there, he's not going to make a ton of mistakes for you. So overall, just a great card, and he just barely misses out on the top 5 though. Moving on into the top 5, however, we are going to stick with the same team and go with the 98 overall Adrian Beltre. And this card is also an excellent defensive player. There are a lot of really, really solid defensive and offensive players at the third base spot, and then there's a lot of guys who are great hitting and then are terrible defensively. That they're just better than the other guy. I don't know what I'm saying right now. There are a lot of really good third basemen. I'll just say that. But this 98 Adrian Beltre is definitely one of them. I know a lot of people, they kind of are reluctant to get this card because he is 5'11", and he does kind of have a weird, closed, kind of crouched stance that can be difficult to hit with if you don't know what you're doing. But if you can get your PCI to the ball and time it up good, this guy can generate a lot of power for you. I remember last year his Dodgers version was one of my favorite cards in the game, and I thought he was the second best third baseman last year, only to the Chipper. And this year I definitely think he warrants top 5, the Red Sox version, because 92, 96 contact with 86 vision and high 80s power and really, really solid defense. Man, it doesn't get a lot better than that. The one downside to this card is that he does have 39 speed, so he is kind of going to be a liability for you on the base paths, but nothing that you can't overcome. So 98 Beltre gets the spot at number 5. At number 4, we have the 99 overall Eddie Matthews, and this is probably going to be the most controversial of the picks because he does have a really bad swing. He has a one-handed long swing, but he's left-handed. He's kind of like a left-handed version of Josh Donaldson in a way. His attributes are very similar, at least offensively, and he has the same swing. But for whatever reason, this card plays way better than the Donaldson, and like I said earlier, it's probably just because he's left-handed, but he does generate topspin with his swing a little bit more often than most guys would, but for whatever reason, it actually sometimes ends up being a benefit because it drops in a lot of like those little line drive singles into right field that would typically just be a line drive right to the right fielder and it'd get caught. For whatever reason, for Eddie Matthews, they tend to drop in. He's hitting very well for me. I think he's hitting like 375 for me, which is definitely above average. So offensively, I really like this guy, and I hadn't really had that much trouble with him defensively either. I have stuck him on first base on several occasions, even though I thought he had a secondary there, but apparently he doesn't. And he hasn't been that bad for me over there. He's been fine. You know, he hasn't really made any huge mistakes that were super noticeable or anything like that. But I like this card a lot more than a lot of people do. So he comes in at number 4 in the top 10 third baseman list. Okay, here's one that I think people will like. The 99 overall David Wright coming in at number 3. And I've been, from the beginning of the year, I was actually pretty anti-David Wright because he didn't have enough power versus righties for me to like really like him. And but I acknowledged that he was great against lefties. He was very solid defensively, and he had some speed. You know, he was a threat on the base paths, but I just couldn't get past the fact that he didn't hit righties all that well. Well, finally I caved in, and I did the Mets epic, and I got him, and he has been an absolute stud for me. And if you just want to look at my stats, the dude is hitting 467 in 284 at-bats. The dude is hitting 467 in 284 at-bats for me. He has an OPS of 1482. He has 28 home runs. He's hitting a home run every 10 at-bats. He has just as many doubles. He has a ton of triples. I mean, he's basically getting an extra base hit like once every, what is that, like 5 at-bats or something. He also has, I mean, he's almost hitting 500 just like in general. This guy's a stud. He is unreal. And this is the perfect example. A lot of people have said in my comments that I weight their swing too much whenever I'm making this list. I don't think that's the case. Oh my God, I have my webcam turned on. I'm such an idiot. Dude, I'm so sorry about that. I had my webcam turned. There was just like a little black box. Like, I'm not going to cut that out. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, you guys can see everything that you wanted to. But a lot of people have told me that I weight swing too much, and I think David Wright is the perfect example of why swing is so important. His raw attributes are good, but against righties, they're not spectacular. In fact, they're like worse than Brooks Robinson. But Brooks Robinson, I struggle mightily with against righties. This David Wright, I'm destroying, and he doesn't have like these huge platoon splits either. He's hitting 464 against righties and 474 against lefties. 471 with runners in scoring. I mean, he's just unbelievable. So yeah, this David Wright is an absolute stud. I really don't have a good argument to keep him out of the number 1 spot, other than just based off of his performance for me. But I do, just looking at the other cards, I do like them a little bit more. So yeah, let's move on to the top 2. But just letting you know, David Wright is an absolute monster. For number 2 and number 1, I went back and forth for a while, and I really tried to fight my bias, but at the end, I ended up settling on what I truly thought was the number 2 and number 1 guy. And at number 2 is the 99 George Brett. And offensively, I mean, my God, this card has very few competitors. I mean, he's one of the best hitters in the game. 97, 96 versus righties with 97 vision, 96, 85 versus lefties. I mean, come on, dude. Like, there aren't a lot of guys who are better than that. I mean, it's about as good as you can get. Defensively, he's fine, solid. I mean, you know, average arm strength, average fielding, kind of below average reaction, but he should be fine over there. His speed isn't going to kill you. This guy's just a slugger. He's an absolute slugger. And he's a lefty, so I guess, you know, if you want to figure out lineup balance and stuff like that, he does kind of eat up a lefty spot, but he's probably going to be the best lefty on your team unless you have, like, Ted Williams, you know? So yeah, the 99 George Brett is just a monster, and that's really all you can say about him. Let's move on to number 1, who is... It's the 99 Chipper Jones. I mean, it's got to be the 99 Chipper Jones, and I hate the fact that you have to acquire him by trading in Pepe Alazar and doing all that stupid shit. I really do hate that, but this 99 Chipper Jones, my God. First of all, he's a switch hitter, and that's huge. Getting a switch hitter in your lineup is always hugely beneficial. It helps in so many ways. You're never going to be at a disadvantage with this chipper. He's just a monster. And, I mean, offensively, are there many guys who are better than this? I mean, this card is almost just as good as the Brett is. 88, 94, 98, 99 with 83 vision. I would argue that adding in the switch hitter thing, it makes this card even better than the George Brett. Defensively, they're kind of about, I mean, this chipper is a little bit worse for wear. Like, he's just low 70s, high 60s, just nothing special. He does have a little bit more speed, though, to where he can be a minor threat on the base pass. 64, 71, that's not terrible. He's not going to be a liability, and you know, maybe every now and then if they have like Victor Martinez at catcher or Jorge Posada, you can try to run on him, I guess, but he's not going to be like a huge threat or anything like that. But it's nice to have, you know, a third baseman that has just a little bit of speed over there, not a ton, but you're getting this card for the offensive value, and for that, I mean, he's one of the best in the game. Probably the best switch hitter in the game. Other than, you know, of course, your creative player in Pepe Alazar. So yeah, he is, in my opinion, the #1 third baseman in the game. So what do you think of the list? Let me know in the comments. Do you like it? Do you think I misplaced someone? Do you think someone should be on the list that wasn't? Did I make a mistake by leaving Miggy off the list? Let me know in the comments. And please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys later, probably tomorrow, with a shortstop video and a stream. So until then, peace.